instinct. And wherever it leads, perfection follows. The new Audi A8L. A statement ahead of its time.
3堆一爐即係3個堆填區啦，同埋一個轉廢為能嘅現代嘅焚化嘅設施。其實喺亞洲同埋歐洲先進嘅地方嘅例子話俾我哋聽，好多呢啲焚化設施唔單止可以處理廢物，亦都能夠轉廢為能，仲成為旅遊嘅景點，距離民居幾百米都冇問題㗎，一舉多得。廢物其實係由我哋每個人產生嘅，所以我哋每個香港人都有個責任去處理我哋嘅垃圾。基建同埋減廢要一齊同時推行嘅。
The latest scenic images from around the world. Prince Julian Watch presents Earth Live, every night at these times on Pearl. Prince Julian Watch presents Earth Live, after the news roundup.
Good evening. Stock markets fell today as US indexes pulled back from record highs ahead of the start of the corporate earnings reporting season. Over the coming weeks, earnings will feature large in investors' thoughts as they try to gauge the state of the American economy. Aluminum giant Alcoa unofficially kicks off the latest earnings season with its second quarter results. Investors will also be interested to see the latest Chinese inflation figures due out tomorrow. To the charts now. The Dow is down 137 points. The S&P 500 is down 15 points. US 30-year Treasury bond priced at $99.76. Spot gold at $1,313.90 per ounce. US dollar cross rates the yen at 101.52, the euro at 1.36, and the Australian dollar at 0.93. European markets, the UK FTSE down 1.25%, the French CAC down 1.44%, and the German DAX down 1.35%. Stay with us, the news is next.
You're watching TVB Pearl. Shortly, we hand you over to our news department for a summary of all the day's top stories in the News Roundup. The World Cup semi-finals are here, and it's the Europeans versus the South Americans. Later tonight at 3:30, Brazil take on Germany next, but this time without Neymar. Tomorrow late night at 3:30. Looking good so far. The Netherlands will go up against Argentina. The World Cup on TVB. Athletes, performers, good-looking women, weird-looking men. They all have one thing in common. Angry and hot. Thursday and Friday, The Amazing Race, Season 23 at 8:30 on Pearl.
Clarence 全新升級簽顏緊緻精華 V 臉型 V 雙合 V 頸顎，嶄新3V 簽顏概念，塑造完美3V 立體輪廓，全新升級簽顏緊緻精華 Clarence。
Direct Asia, best price guaranteed on car insurance. That's a wrap. DirectAsia.com, best price guaranteed on car insurance. Easy.
Hi, Raindrop.
Wastewater, why are you here?
Let's hang out together.
Sorry, no way! We are collected by 2 separate systems. Wastewater in our rainwater system will pollute the rivers and harbor, causing a stink. You need to be treated before discharge.
Ah, somebody must have misconnected the pipes or poured wastewater into the rainwater system.
We have to fix that up.
Never discharge wastewater into a rainwater system.
We can't explain everything we see. The world is full of wonders.
We're the line between the world and the much weirder world. What were you after?
The truth. What are you after?
World peace.
We're not exactly a team, but we're in a position to do some good.
You all right?
We'll deal with that later, at length.
Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. premieres Monday night at 10:40 on Pearl.
Powerful typhoon lashes Okinawa. The CE and LegCo president disagree over rift between the executive branch and the legislature. And mixed views on just how Occupy Central would affect Hong Kong. Good evening. Typhoon Nogari struck Japan's Okinawa Islands today. More than 500,000 residents were evacuated to safety in the face of what was billed as one of the worst storms on record. One man died after his boat was swamped by high waves, and at least 10 people were injured, one seriously. Sonia Artero has more.
Typhoon Nogari weakened from its original super typhoon status to a Category 3 storm. But it still packed a powerful punch with violent winds gusting at more than 240 kilometers per hour. That and its heavy rains kicked up waves of up to 14 meters high and a fierce storm surge. Video footage in the Okinawan capital of Naha showed one building shattered from the storm. It also damaged storefronts and toppled trees. 8 people were reported injured. One was a man who broke his wrist when he was blown over by high winds, and an 83-year-old woman suffered a head injury. The local power company says nearly 100,000 households have lost electricity. In the face of danger, all airlines canceled flights to and from the Okinawa Islands, and all schools and government offices were sealed shut. Kadena Air Base, one of the largest U.S. military facilities on Okinawa, was on its highest alert and prohibited people from venturing outside. Japan's chief cabinet secretary updated the masses at a news conference in Tokyo. Yoshihide Suga said no significant damage or injury has occurred yet, but if there was, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe gave immediate orders for the government to act fast. Japan's meteorological agency says Typhoon Nogari will maintain its current strength as it barrels towards the east. It's currently forecast to make landfall in Kyushu before it reaches the main island of Honshu. Even though the storm is blowing with less intensity, its wide area and slow movement could add to the potential damage. Experts believe by the time it reaches Tokyo on Friday, it will have weakened to a tropical storm. Sonia Artero, TVB News.
Japan and Australia today signed key agreements to boost ties during a landmark visit by Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Australian leader Tony Abbott insists their partnership is not aimed at countering China's growing influence. Here's Jameson Wong.
To this signing ceremony.
The two countries signed landmark defense and free trade agreements as part of what Shinzo Abe described as a special relationship. The defense deal involves the transfer of military equipment and technology, including the joint development of stealth submarine technology. The trade pact would lower Japan's tariffs on Australian beef products and scrap Canberra's tariffs on Japanese vehicles, household appliances, and electronics. In a speech at the Australian Parliament, Abe hailed a new era of bilateral ties.
Australia and Japan have now freed ourselves from one old layer and are now moving towards a new special relationship.
Abbott, for his part, insisted the new partnership is not against China.
Australia welcomes Japan's recent decision to be a more capable strategic partner in our region. I stress, ours is not a partnership against anyone. It's a partnership for peace, for prosperity, and for the rule of law.
And at a press conference, Abe made this appeal to Beijing.
The door for dialogue is always open from the Japanese side, so I do sincerely hope that the Chinese side will also take the same posture.
Since 1945, Japan has been an exemplary international citizen, and we will go forward further and faster and better if we look to the present and the future than if we dwell too much on the distant past.
Today, they did revisit the past as the Japanese leader paid his respects at the Australian War Memorial. The move by Tokyo and Canberra to boost ties came a week after Abe's cabinet approved a reinterpretation of Japan's pacifist constitution, allowing the country's military to fight overseas and defend allies under attack. Jameson Wong, TVB News.
Here in Hong Kong, Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying has played down concerns about tensions between the executive and the legislative branches, and he blames a handful of legislators for obstructing the normal functioning of the Legislative Council. But LegCo President Zhang Yok-sing called that an oversimplification of the problem. Stephanie Choi reports.
More than 40 funding applications remain on the Finance Committee's agenda as the 2013 to 2014 session draws to a close. 7 bills are also waiting to be processed, including the Stamp Duty Amendment Bill. Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying insisted today that obstacles to the legislature's business are due to the filibusters mounted by 3 or 4 legislators and have nothing to do with the relationship between the executive authorities and the legislature. But LegCo President Zhang Yok-sing called Leung's comments an oversimplification of the problem. Zhang noted that more than 20 pan-democratic lawmakers walked out of the CE's question and answer session earlier this month. He said the public would not accept this as normal executive-legislative relations.
It was really due to the efforts of a very few members in the council that the council's business has been obstructed. Then perhaps it would be relatively easy for the council to resolve the problem. However, I have observed that it is not a few members who have adopted a rather obstructive attitude towards some items put forward by the government.
Other lawmakers agree.
To simply say that it is a matter of a few legislators filibustering in LegCo is either oversimplification of the problem that we face, or is due to the ignorance of the chief executive in not understanding the true value of politics in Hong Kong.
The relation between the executive and the legislative branch are at the lowest point ever.
The lawmakers say the government's inefficiency at tabling bills for scrutiny at LegCo and a lack of communication with legislators are to blame for many filibusters. Stephanie Choi, TVB News.
There are concerns tonight that Occupy Central would hurt the property market and drive down home prices. But others say it remains to be seen what kind of an impact the proposed civil disobedience movement would have. Evelina Leung reports.
Home prices reaching new highs. Figures released by the Rating and Valuation Department showed Hong Kong's property price index in May reaching an all-time high. An index on rental prices has also climbed for 3 months in a row. And according to a report by international brokerage firm Barclays, home prices are now 13.5 times that of gross household income. That's higher than the figure of 13.2 around the time of the Asian financial crisis back in 1997. Barclays warns that the property market will take a longer time to recover from possible volatilities. The firm also says although the July 1st rally and subsequent protests haven't affected commercial activity, it warns property investors to be on the alert. Centerline Property founder Shi Wing-ching waded in, saying it's hard to determine the impact of Occupy Central on the property market. But she warned the overall economy will be badly affected if the city descends into chaos under extreme circumstances. Jones Lang LaSalle, on the other hand, played down concerns about Occupy